Another week, another LNG main event. We're having a blast with this. This is our first step into the famed or infamous World Wrestling Federation. A very different time away, shoot. But first, how are you today?
I'm doing great, man. This is a time of the World Wrestling Federation that I'm very comfortable with diving into.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we are jumping into 1988.
Yeah.
Um, World Wrestling Federation champion, new World Wrestling Federation champion, Randy Savage, going around the country working with the Million Dollar Man, Ted DiBiase.
Mm-hmm.
We are looking at a cage match from Madison Square Garden, June 25th, I believe.
Oh my
Um,
God.
June 25th, 1988, Madison Square Garden. Um, so, as far as I know, and again, as we always say, we're not experts. We're liable to have someone in the comments with a 4 paragraph thing telling us everything we said wrong on this show, which fair. Um, but as far as I know, this is the most well known of their
Yeah.
many WrestleMania 4 rematches. I believe this aired on like a Coliseum video tape. Um, I hope I have the timeline right on when it was Coliseum video. I think I do. Like a steel cage tape, I believe, is where this
Yes.
is most well known from.
Because that's always an interesting thing about this time, right? Is like the real work was being done on the live events most of the
Yeah,
time. Because they were still like the model hadn't it had changed because you had pay-per-view, but it wasn't what it would become 5-6 years later. It was still very much a live event business in a lot of ways, which is why the value of a match like this with 18,000 people was much more apparent. Whereas now, it's cool to sell out the Garden, but I don't think their business leans on it the way it once did, I guess, is the kind of core point, right?
it's a very different. Like I'm old enough that like when I first started watching wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
um, you would get like these Coliseum videotapes or the the events at the video store, and you really didn't have any kind of at least I didn't at 9 or 10 years old. You didn't have like an idea of the timeline. Like you would just get this tape and you would
It's the
watch these,
match,
and
yeah.
you have no idea that this happened then, and then it was followed by, and you didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it was more. It's weird to say this about a WWF product, but in a lot of ways, it was more about the matches. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they told stories, but like you could follow the World Wrestling Federation and not really follow any of the stories because there was enough. You could just
Mm-hmm.
watch tapes.
Yeah.
Um, like I would watch literally. I would go to the video store with my dad because he would just rent movies. That was his big thing, and I would go with him. And eventually, I got to where he would let me get a wrestling tape every time we went, and I would just pick one I hadn't seen before, and I didn't care about like
Yeah.
the perfect example is WrestleMania 4 is like the coolest show of all time to me. I'm sure if I watched it again now, I'd be like, Jesus. But when you're 10 and it's all these matches and all these big stars and it's a tournament, it's just cool. Like
Yeah.
it's a
That's the key,
different
though, right?
yeah.
The big stars. Like, it's about the matches, but through their very unique lens of like, it's these sort of comic book battles almost.
Right.
It's very different, like, and I don't mean that as a slight or even a praise. It's just, it's a very unique product in wrestling history. 80s WWF is like, it's just a different monster, man. It was
And
something
then
different,
we're to set the stage. Brandy Savage again, like we said, has not been champion very long. Very, very different champion than what they've
Yeah.
had in what you would call their boom, because Hogan's been the champion the whole time basically in their as they've taken off nationally. Savage is um, more of a workhorse, I guess you would
Yeah.
say. That take can probably be controversial to some people, but I think that's fair to say. Like, even if you don't think he's a tremendous worker, because I know some people are kind of split on that, he's definitely more of like a high effort.
He was WrestleMania 3 is the perfect example. Like,
Yeah,
he was like the high energy workhorse champ as the IC champ. That's what he
right.
was. And that's what I was going to say. Actually, this is like probably the first. of the golden era, golden age, whatever they call it in history. This is like the first work rate live event WWF title program.
Yeah.
Ted is interesting in that regard too, but he's definitely someone who is perceived as like a in-ring, ring general kind of guy. So
Right.
very interesting. I want to get into the Ted part more once we hit play here because his WWF run is very mixed in terms of actual results in ring, I think it's fair to say, which we can discuss. So I was slightly surprised when I saw this one, but I'm told it's got a good reputation.
Hey, we'll to give context, and again, Joe and I, and hopefully you guys listening are good, like to not let this shape it as. But Dave Meltzer gave this 4.5 stars, which Dave Meltzer giving a WWF match that kind of rating, especially in the 80s, is not insignificant, I guess would be the best way to put it.
I would agree.
Cage match rating's not quite as high. It's still good though. I think it's in the 7s. So this will be fun. This is a match that I didn't even know existed. This will be everything else we've watched so far has been at least a match that I was aware of, and a couple of them. One of them, the Hogan match, very famous. I mean the Hanson matches too, but for different type of famous. Yeah. So. Yeah, this is going to be fun. So this one's a little bit shorter than the ones we've been watching. We won't say the exact time because why ruin it for you? But let's dive into it.
Folks, the video will be linked below this very thing you're watching right now. Randy Savage, Ted DiBiase in 1988, Steel Cage, MSG, WWF title line. We're going to hit play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
All right, so we're already into Randy's entrance. He's about to get in the ring. DiBiase's already in there. I think it's kind of normal for the Good Coliseum video. They would kind of just bounce around. And
are you a big blue cage guy?
I like the blue cage nostalgia wise, but when looking at this right now, I can definitely see why they got rid of it.
Apparently, it was horrific on the body. Apparently, it was brutal.
There's Elizabeth. Now, the one thing I guarantee it was easier to climb.
Yeah. Well, I think you can already see what we were talking about earlier regarding pace and work rate.
Yeah.
So I mentioned it earlier, and we can get into a little bit here as they get underway. I mean, they're setting a hell of a pace, but DiBiase has an incredible reputation as an in-ring performer. And I think it's earned if you watch his stuff pre-WWF. He was very much a character, though, in that world. There aren't a great plethora of classic $1 Million Man matches, frankly, It was
actually interesting because DiBiase was someone who I wanted to do an episode on. I want to do a DiBiase match, and it was hard to find one that's highly regarded and again, that especially because when he was really, the early 80s, sometimes it's hard to find.
Yeah, because he was great in Mid-South, and that goes without saying. But
he worked in All Japan a lot too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
before and after. Yeah. So let me.
Good Lord,
I can't remember his. So commentary here's Roger Kent, who I'm not familiar with. I've literally never heard of him. No disrespect to Roger Kent.
If he's watching.
Yeah. And then Lord Alfred Hayes and Superstar Billy Graham, which is a dream team duo.
Heard of them?
Yes. So they're cutting a very quick pace here.
This is heated too. It feels alive. Very good so far.
Elizabeth in her prime there.
Look at this aesthetic, dude.
Oh, Virgil's out there. I didn't even see him.
Look at this, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it's there's 18,000 people here, and looking at it, you'd have no idea because it's so dark. But look, you can see the commentary team there at the bottom of the screen. I used to love that.
Mm-hmm.
How you could see them there in the shot.
Cage match main event at MSG was a familiar play for them, right?
Yeah.
I feel I've seen a few. There's a Brett Yoko one that's definitely the best match of Yoko's career. It rules from MSG. So
this actually is the main event. This is the first main event ever on Late Night Grin main event.
We did it, folks.
They followed a Loser wears a weasel suit match. Ultimate Warrior and Bobby Heenan.
Matt Classic.
Yeah.
Poor Bobby didn't have much fun with those, you know.
Probably would pop us huge if we're being honest. So yeah, the main thing that's jumping out to me, again, I've already said it, is the pace they're working at here. Again, I should have looked at this. I'm sure the amount of times that they worked over this summer would be insane. It's probably an insane number. Because they just took this match around all summer, basically.
Did Hogan go home at this time?
I believe so.
Because if not, they were probably still doing B-Towns most of the time.
That's true. I don't know for sure. That's a good question. Looking at this card, it's a pretty good chance this is a beat, but this is MSG, so
yeah, it feels like that would always be an A-Town, right?
Yeah, but this card is something.
Yeah.
One Man Gang versus Jim Duggan.
What?
Neidhart versus Bad News Brown.
Dude, listen to the heat for Ted climbing,
Yeah.
screaming.
Bam Bam Bigelow versus Andre the Giant. That's an interesting one.
Wow.
Yeah. That's actually good. Like, what did...
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to find
What was
out.
Hogan doing in 88?
Dude, are you watching how, like, violently he's pulling him down? He's, like, yanking him. Look at this. Look, he's stuck in the ropes. Incredible heat in the building for this, bro.
Oh, no, there's Virgil.
There he is.
Right hand. So this is when they did the Mega Powers. I don't know.
So Hogan took time off.
Okay.
Makes Hogan worked one Superstars after Mania, and then he was off until the 31st of July, where he returned at WrestleFest 1988 in a cage match with Andre.
God bless.
Okay. Milwaukee County Stadium, brother.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
There you go. So
I'm pretty sure I've seen that. I think I've seen that match.
Because otherwise, whether he's champ or not, Hogan's going to be the A-Towns. That explains why this is the, on top of the garden. Did you see that bump from Ted?
Great branding, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That bump from Ted was unbelievable. They're going crazy for this.
Yeah. Gaga as...
Gaga, yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Kent just said. I said Mr. Kent because I've forgotten his first name already. So I'll be on. I hate the escape. Like, I guess it works, but
I think the more kid-oriented audience really likes it.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, no doubt that was not a take I had when I was younger. I didn't even care. But
yeah. I really believe that. Like, when we all, every wrestling fan when they get older gets to the point where they go, why can't they just use it as we're supposed to be? Stay in the cage and fight each other. Right. But I really think if people tried to get back to where they were as a kid, they would realize how much it popped them,
It is. I mean, of course, it's fun to watch them try to climb the cage. And
yeah. Some of the WWF cage matches, I think, lean a little too heavy on that particular,
Yeah, we're starting to get there with, like, that's all they're doing now.
Yep. It's just a philosophy thing too, a philosophical thing. It's like for some it's just totally at odds with what a cage match should be, which I get. Right. I honestly tend to agree, but
look at Liz.
Yep.
She's got an interesting reputation.
Mm-hmm.
But like she was really good at that, like facial expressions.
She was,
and
I just
selling that they were in danger, and
she's just such a unique case.
Is that right? Vladimir?
I'm not sure. I didn't see.
I'm pretty sure it was.
That rules. Release his documentary, by the way. That was mean.
Yeah.
They showed us something that we couldn't have. Very mean. Yeah, Liz is an interesting one. She's very much like it was the perfect time, the perfect role when it was starting. Like it was perfect, but it doesn't mean she didn't do a good job. I agree.
I think part of it too is it's like no one does it now.
Yeah.
I almost think that's a role that you could look into bringing back. You got with the right woman.
I would agree.
But the big thing is like she wasn't a promo, and I think that's why people just kind of write her off.
I've definitely been guilty of that. Yeah. It's like,
but like if you actually watch the matches, she can add to the match when they use her right.
I agree.
She's a great. You just cut to her when Macho's in peril, and she sells it like she's terrified for him.
It's just such a difficult balance to strike, Like she's so she has such like an innocence to her that it doesn't stop Savage from being a babyface.
Yeah.
Which is like, it can be challenging. I think it's the way you present it. I just think it can be difficult. She was very unique in that regard.
The whole act was unique.
Yeah, because it doesn't
For
really
a
make
long time,
sense.
yeah, you were supposed to like Liz, but not him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Look at her. Like, she looks terrified.
Yeah.
Like, concerned is the right word, not terrified.
Damn, they run 2 double clotheslines, one after the other. This has got incredible heat in the building.
Yeah.
And they're working hard. I would like them to have a few more ideas,
Yeah.
It's kind of going in circles a little bit for me, which is not, look, let's be very clear. This is a match that was being worked for the house after they probably wrestled 30 straight nights. Like, I ain't, ultimately they're working for that crowd, and that crowd is having an absolute blast. So, ain't therefore they released the
goofy,
Coliseum.
as they just said on commentary.
Goofy, there you go. He's out here again. Great announcer we have here. Whose now whole name I've forgotten, by the way. I haven't even got the mister. I've just forgotten all of it.
Roger Kent.
Roger Kent, there you go. Sounds like he's playing James Bond sometime soon, Look at this. Listen to Alfred Hayes. Good Lord.
I want to say he just said this is the first WWF Steel Cage match on MSG.
Wow,
that doesn't sound right, but I think that's what he said.
Wait, what did Ted just do? What the hell just happened? Shoot.
I'm not sure.
It appeared that Virgil knocked Savage down and Ted stopped climbing. Like, let's get him. I think that...
Why didn't he just leave?
I think Alfred Hayes said they didn't have the strength in their legs.
I love that suplex block. I don't fully understand it, but...
Yeah, I don't even bet rules.
Yeah.
Everyone nowadays does the teeter one, right? Where you pull them up a little bit and you can't get them up, and then it goes.
Yeah, no one does that anymore.
No.
Maybe because it doesn't make sense. But
wasn't that a beautiful feed from Ted there?
Yeah. Oh,
Ted's been unbelievable in this match. To be fair, like the way he's bumped and the way he's.
Yeah, listen to the crowd losing their minds for Randy trying to leave.
Which again,
he can't find the door. You see what he's doing?
Pop. We have to stress that is what they're going for here. This, let's not lose sight of.
Oh, I think this is. Oh
my God,
that ruled. I thought that was the end.
Dude, are the referees going to do anything about Virgil?
No. It's a steel cage match. What are they going to do?
He stopped 4 attempts to escape.
The ref is literally just leaning on the stairs. Look at him. He's just leaning on the stairs.
He didn't even say anything to him. Look,
He's only there to open the cage door.
And then he just lets him shy. Look at Ted. Look at this. This is what I'm saying, man. This is high drama. Look at that. My God. Incredible tan lines on young Ted there.
Yes.
Alfred A said there's not a great deal of strength left in those arms.
Yep. He's struggling holding on those stairs.
Wow, man. That was more like a movie fight scene, the way they sold that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, look at the crowd, dude. That ain't the same crowd that watch, Magnum and Tully. Like, they don't care.
Oh, no, yeah.
You're like, this is the most exciting cage match you can do for that audience. Okay, this is awesome.
Yeah, look at it. Yeah. Like, the crowd, it's going to be a constant point because it's true. Like, the crowd can take a match. I love that. Ted did that a lot.
Yeah, he's been tremendous in this match. Yeah. Not to slight Savage, but, Ted's been outstanding here as the bumping heel.
Oh, here comes Virgil again.
You know what's great too about Ted's performance is like when he's getting stopped, there's not a my God. We have a fan of some kind.
That's a fan.
That could have been catastrophic. Thank goodness Virgil didn't hit him, huh? Oh,
I can't believe that just happened.
Dude, they did a double bump.
And there he goes.
Right, hold on. We have a lot to talk about.
So I was sitting there trying to figure out who that was and then realized it was legitimately a fan.
Okay, it looks like there's some replays ahead, so let's let these play out.
Yeah.
That appears to be the fan in the front row who they've just put back in his seat, which fucking rules. Like, no concern about what he just did. Just sit back down, man. Show's the end. Let's watch these replays. I want to hope they get a better shot of the double bump because I want to see how hard Virgil fell. He looked like he just took a back bump.
Yeah, it did.
I assume he didn't because that sounds insane.
Look at the security having to help Liz back.
Yeah. Full on
Look
rock
at
star vibe.
just high five. Oh, that ruled.
Right, hang on. Here we go. Are they showing the fan pot on replay? Look at Virgil was Virgil was just like punching him in the side of the body. Hang on. Dude. The announcers are like not sure whether to comment on the fan or not.
What in the world just happened?
They were saying he was outnumbered, and then one of them was like, maybe there was a little interference. Right, hang on. I want to see. They're not going to give us a different angle, are they?
No.
Mate.
Oh, he lands on his feet.
Ted's
and then
bump
goes down. Yeah, Ted's bump is
unbelievable. All right.
Wow.
We have a lot to discuss.
I did not see that coming at all.
No. We have much to discuss.
There's no way that was a plant, right? Like that, because that doesn't make any sense.
We need to talk about the fact that, like, if Virgil didn't react the way he did, and he'd just done what wrestlers are prone to do, which is just punch the fan in the face, that fan would have taken like a 10-foot bump to the floor.
Yeah.
And God only knows, because he was not a big kid.
It never it doesn't even look like security comes and gets him. Like,
no, he just he sees them and he's like, I'll come down. Good call.
Yeah.
He clearly slid himself down.
Yeah. What in the world? Didn't see that coming at all, man.
The match was very, very fun.
Yes, it was.
It was frenetic. It was actually helped by the shorter run time, I think. It wasn't, packed with these sort of impressive ideas. That wasn't what they were going for. But they definitely rocked MSG that night, right? That was a good time.
Yeah, that was a blast. I'm trying to figure out
very fair.
What happened there.
Very, very simple template they used perfectly there. The audience just loved it. They ate it up. I mean, DiBiase is the big bump in heel and Savage is the sort of fearless baby face. It worked a treat. It was
really Virgil interfered so much that I'm so hesitant with pro wrestling now, but we assume an actual fan jumped the rail and tried to climb the cage to save the Macho Man Randy Savage. That blows my mind. Yeah. I'm so thrown off by that. Like I had actual thoughts about the match and I can't remember them now. But that was fun. It was I see why it was rated so highly, especially within the prism of the WWF at the time. Ted's performance, good Lord, man.
He looked great, yeah.
Yeah. Just bumping all over the place. Savage tremendous babyface champion. He played that role perfectly. It was an interesting because Ted's an interesting one because he was, he's kind of a chicken shit heel in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And you never really felt like Macho was in trouble during that match.
No.
Maybe one spot. It was mostly just like Randy trying to win and Virgil screwing him over and again.
Yeah, there was part of the beauty of it was too that when they would go head to head, it would feel like Savage. It was a matter of time, but because of the stipulation, Ted only needed a window, right? He needed an opening to go. I loved the way that Ted portrayed his kind of desperation. He really felt like a villain when he was trying to get out of that cage. With Savage, the audience is willing him out of the door, willing him over the top. And he's fighting with such courage and force. With Ted, it was like he was hanging on to things, like he was such a coward, He just wanted to get out of there. That's just the simple stuff done well, which I think that match was probably a really good encapsulation of what that is. You can do a cage match with that audience, especially without bleeding, without doing anything really particularly violent, but they made it a drama thing. They made it theatrical in that way.
One interesting thing that we've not even done intentionally so far is we really kind of spotlighted all the different ways you can do professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Wrestling is definitely not a thing where there's only one way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who
Absolutely.
thinks they're out of their mind.
Yeah, they've got to attach their own taste, I think, at that point.
Yeah.
And look, there's nothing wrong with having your own taste. Like that match for me isn't as striking as like a violent cage match, but I can still
Right.
look at it and go, that certainly worked. I
Yeah.
mean, listen to the people, look at the people. Look at the one fan who decided he wanted to be in the match, which was again, I still can't. I'm still kind of mulling over the potential repercussions of such a thing. That was
Yeah.
very dangerous.
I really want to know, like, I would love to know what happened up there. Like, did any of them say anything to the kid? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think the big kid's biggest win was that Savage, as a babyface, kind of had his hands tied.
yeah.
If Savage was the heel,
Yeah, good luck.
he may not have seen tomorrow. You know what I mean? I mean that Savage was fiery. He may not have got through that. So yeah, that was a nice surprise at the end of a damn
Yeah,
good
it
cage
was.
match. It went like
Yeah, it
12
was.
minutes. That was really
1406 is the video length. Well, some of that was replay. So yeah, about 12 minutes.
it was a very high pace for that time in that promotion. Again, that's a good
Yeah.
point you made. I can see why I got a good rating because let's be honest, it was not a promotion filled with high pace action at the time. So that makes sense. Shoot, any final thoughts, comments, so on and so forth after the unique ride we just took?
No, that was a blast. Very different, very, very different than anything we've done so far. But again, like I said, there's more than one way to do it. And it's
Certainly
hard.
is.
That crowd was, I mean, like I said, a kid tried to jump the rail to save Macho Man Randy Savage. So
Yeah, we shouldn't be surprised, I guess. That's like a famous thing, right? Fans jumping the cage. It's like a
yeah,
famous thing. I don't always think it was a WWF thing, though, but I guess it was too. Folks, if you'd ever like the audio for this very show a little bit early, you can get on the Wednesday before we drop it here on YouTube. You can do so at latenightgrin.com. Just $1 gets you everything on that front. All of the audio files for all of our many shows, legitimately like 15 shows a week at this point. It also gets you the exclusive Burt from Tuesday through Friday every week, 10 a.m. Eastern, as well as the flagship show, Grin Proper, the Late Night Grin, after Rampage every week. Goes 3 to sometimes 4 to sometimes apparently 4.5 hours, covering a range of topics, some of which are interesting, most of which are not. But it's a good time, we promise, latenightgrin.com. So hopefully we'll see you over there. But either way, we'll see you back next week for the next LNG main event. Keep grinning, all hail, and enjoy this outro.